so when I make that mine. Hold up, let me take
Hello. All right. We're good. We are good. What's going on, people? I'm going to come over here to the people on the vertical stream. We got Rain and Woman. Now, that's the only sound effect I got for y'all. We got Rain and Woman on the vertical perspective. What's going on? Everyday technology. What's going on, you guys on the vertical? We're going to switch the vertical stream over here when we get into the show. So I'm back to running the vertical and the horizontal at the same time. Let me actually I'm gonna come over here to my stem. Okay, we're gonna leave that one on. So I'm back. Let me just make sure I get my music situated. Okay. So we're going to get right into it, and let me just. So what we're gonna talk about tonight is we're just going to be talking about the podcast. What I really want to discuss is how influential podcast appearances are going to be going forward after this election. The most notable thing I want to address is Kamala Harris' appearance on the Club Shay podcast, and just kind of give my general opinion on all of her appearances on podcasts so far. They have been very, how can I say, very lackluster, to say the least, right? And this is not me I'm not going to make too many political opinions about who I want to win or any of that stuff. I just want to kind of just observe the optics and kind of get ahead of the trend or point out a trend that may present itself, right? So we're going to first switch on the main screen on the horizontal on the one stream, and we're going to switch over here on the second stream, okay? So now we're all seeing the same thing on both streams. So this is the Club Shay Kamala Harris interview. First and foremost, this is on Chrome because YouTube hid the ability to see likes for various reasons to protect the current administration and other creators in general from dislike bombing. So what I first want to show you guys, this is pretty much the plugin. I have a plugin that allows you to see the dislikes on a YouTube video, right? So this is 7 days after the interview was fully published. And again, if you guys are liking just me doing a stream, please like the content and share it out on your platforms. I greatly appreciate it, but I definitely appreciate if you just like the content. Anyway, so of course I had to give it a dislike. I gotta bless it with the dislike. So if you look at the ratio, it's 55,000 to 197,000 dislikes. That is astronomically bad, right? Now, again, the video did good for Club Shay, 1.5 out of 7 days. Total subscribers, 3.6 million. So a good percentage of his people actually came and watched the content, right? So that's good for Club Shay. But overall, bad for Kamala Harris. And I'm going to kind of explain to you why, right? So first, what I want to show you is the comment section, right? So this is the engagement. 72,000 comments in this comment section, okay? And if you were to just skim through all the comments, pretty much it's just people just laughing at Kamala and laughing at the interview, just pretty much just making fun of her. Literally everybody, I think more people showed up for the comment section than the actual interview. Yeah, literally everybody's here to just make fun of her, right? Now, why? Now, I want to go over here to Joe Rogan real quick, and I gotta be mindful of Joe Rogan because I know
the Joe Rogan experience.
I know he does kind of clip people. So, what I want to do over here, actually, I kind of want to just play my. Let me see. So I'm going to play these stems that I got. Let's just mess with the stems real quick. Anyway, So when you look at the Joe Rogan podcast, you have clips of Donald Trump getting millions of views. Now these are clips. Now this isn't the whole podcast, right? We got 2.4, 4.6. Now if I was to click one of these clips here, right, and just kind of just look at it here, you see the response, right? So we got 58,000 likes and 1,500 dislikes, right? And then pretty much just people giving their general opinion in the comment section, right? Not there really to make fun of Trump's appearance, mostly on the Joe Rogan. I'm pretty sure if I really looked, I could find some people making fun of him. But in general, it's like, oh, I can't believe Trump is doing this, yada, 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 right? Let's see if we can find something else. So we can't really find a whole lot of clips, right? Let's do this one, 4.6 million. So this is, again, 4.6 million views in 9 days, 90,000 likes, only 1,500 dislikes, 15,000 comments. And it's pretty much, people just liking the podcast, giving it like, oh, I like the podcast. I'm surprised he asked them about X, Y, and Z, right? So then we come back to Club Shay,
right? Which is the
and then
beauty
we look
of
at the clips of Club Shay.
This is the other.
Okay, we look at the clips of Club Shay. All of Kamala Harris's clips are about around 50K. This is the only one that did almost 100K, right? So all the clips themselves did terrible numbers after the interview, right? So if we were to look at the most popular one, let's take a look at the most popular one.
So you probably heard about the once weekly shot?
Let's take a look at the most popular one. Again, the most popular clip from the interview with her is 11,000 dislikes, 1,900 likes, right? So the sentiment that you can get from her appearance on this podcast is that people did not like it, right? People didn't like it. People thought it was a bad appearance, right? They didn't like what she had to say. Now, what would that mean really? Let me see if I can cut this off. Let me see if I got some. Now, what would that mean really for like how people perceive her, or how you can kind of gauge what's going on with the election, right? So let's just take a look. No, I don't want any crypto group, everyday technology, thank you. But let's just take a look at pretty much this segment of this demographic, right? So if we zoom out real quick and we take a look at Joe Rogan, we take a look at Joe Rogan, right? So Joe Rogan, I would say, is maybe targeted demographic is, African American, sort of urban subculture. Was made popular with the viral Cat Williams podcast 10 months ago, reached about 82 million views, right? So it's a black demographic. So for Club Shay, the Kamala Harris podcast was a targeted demographic piece of content that should have went over very well with the targeted audience, which was black Americans. It did not. It kind of floundered, right? Now, what I want to do, I want to come back here, and while I'm talking, I don't have a secondary screen for the vertical, so I'll just go on the sound check. And what I want to do, I want to look up the All the Smoke podcast, right? And what we can do is we can look at the All the Smoke podcast, and we can look at the interview they did with Kamala Harris. And we can again look at the targeted demographic
in an apartment, right? On top of
look at the targeted demographic, and then we can kind of get an idea. We can kind of get an idea of what are we trying to pinpoint about the election and her popularity, right? So I got both screens set up. So let's come back. I got both screens set up, so let's come back. Okay, so I got both screens set up now. So now let's take a look at this now. So this is the All the Smoke podcast, and I hope the music is not sound too loud. Again, I'm going to talk about the mixer that I got in a little bit, but I don't want to. I want to clip this stuff up, so I don't want to get distracted talking about that too much. So this is the All the Smoke podcast. Just over 1 million subscribers. This interview was about a month ago. 34,000 likes, 85,000 dislikes, about 29,000 comments. And if you look in the comments, pretty much the same stuff, kind of like making fun of her. Like, I was unburdened, just people just there just to make fun of her, right? Just to laugh at the interview, just to laugh at her, right? Now, again, I wouldn't say that this is all bad. However, this is a political candidate for United States of America. And the reason why I wanted to point that out again, let's see if they have any clips there. So they don't clip it up. So they just have the full interview here, right? And the reason why I kind of just want to point this out is because it's kind of giving you an understanding, right? Even with her targeted demographic, like, again, All the Smoke podcast is two retired professional athletes, African-American, targeted demographic of African-American people, voting age, let's just say 18 to 65, whatever, right? 21 to 65, right? So this is her targeted demographic. And the overall sentiment is LOL, get her the F out of here. What is she talking about, right? That's really what the sentiment is, right? And again, I'm not making any, strong political comments on this. I'm just looking at the optics, right? So if I was to say, let's go look at her Howard Stern interview. Okay, same thing. Let's look at the Howard Stern interview, but what, like, disabled body owner. So you can't even see the dislikes on Howard Stern, right? You can't see the likes or the dislikes. But again, you could come to the comment section and we could just look at the comments, right? It's easy to fool people, to convince them they've been fooled. Finally, someone says this election shouldn't even be close. Polls don't mean anything. Please vote. So this is a different demographic now, right? So now this isn't the targeted kind of black demographic. This is kind of like your general white, liberal, progressive demographic that Howard Stern has, right? So now you can see how vastly the comments have changed, right? You can see how the engagement has changed on, on her perception, right? So let's take a look. Hope everyone listens to this and go vote. Damn it, people don't listen or pay attention to polls, Thanks for letting us watch this for free. I hope more people see and listen to make a decision, especially if you're undecided. Please, people, put your prejudices, okay, whatever, aside, go vote and save our democracy. So you can kind of get the sentiment how, okay, so how she's doing with sort of like your white, liberal, progressive demographic is far better, right, than her targeted African-American demographic, right? And if I was to look at like her polling demographics, the last time I looked, it's like she's doing around 72% with Black America, right? Which is pretty bad for a black woman that's a Democrat, right? That's bad. That's worse than Hillary, that's worse than Obama, that's worse than Biden. But again, I'm just pointing that out so you can understand the point that I'm trying to make with highlighting the engagement. Now again, just looking at comments, looking at comments on the YouTube video, looking at like and dislike ratio, that doesn't 100% mean that she's going to lose the election, but that's kind of just giving you an insight as to how her perception is to the people who are her targeted demographic, who are supposed to carry her over the line and become the next president of the United States. And I don't really have to go too deep into the bag, really, to show you Trump, how Trump's perception is, right? So we can just go Theo, what's this guy named? Theo Vaughn. Let's see, Theo Vaughn. And then we can look at Theo Vaughn. We can look at the Theo Vaughn podcast. When Trump did the Theo Vaughn podcast, right? We'll go find it there. Let's see if we can find it. And I think he did that a while ago too, so I gotta look for it. Okay.
I have some tour dates to tell.
All right. So again, we go look at the Theo Vaughn podcast, right? So here's the Theo Vaughn podcast, and the Theo Vaughn podcast, it's about 14 million views. So he has 3.2 million subscribers, and he got 14 million views on his interview with Donald Trump. So put that in comparison to Shannon Sharp, who has about 3 million subscribers on his channel, if I believe. I don't want to look back, but I believe it's about 3 million on his channel. And he only got about 1.5 million views, right? Now, again, that's only 9 days in, but I don't know. I don't believe the election's tomorrow, so it's not going to get more views. So that's it. The view is done, okay? So when you look at a Trump interview, you see the overwhelming majority of people like the content, right? Only a small portion of people dislike the content. You come into the comment section, about 66,000 comments, right? And pretty much it's just kind of the same sentiment as the Joe Rogan. Like, I like the interview. Overall, being like positive. They're talking about the interview. They like, what Trump is saying. They like that Theo's talking to Trump. Like this one. It's a good comment. Always felt Trump was a poor communicator on the stump. But after watching this and him on Flagrant Andy Schultz's channel, I realized I underestimated the human side of the man. I hope others watch this and see he really has a love for this country and a sense of humanity I rarely seen in any politician. Again, I'm not interjecting, my personal opinion of Trump versus Kamala and how they speak. I'm just showing you the optics, and I'm going to paint a picture for you, right? So when you look at, like, Trump's interviews, it's usually this kind of sentiment, like, oh, okay, I didn't know. Because, usually when Trump talks, people are like, oh, God, this guy's a mook, right? Like, this guy's a schmuck, right? He's a goofy, right? He's a nut job, right? Then when you sit down, you listen to like a podcast, I'm like, oh, he's not that wacko, right? That's the sentiment that these people have, right? And it's overall general, like they like the interview, right? So now let's look at the Andrew Schultz. I saw it pop up over here. Thank God for the YouTube algo. It does you right when you need it to do. So here's Andrew Schultz. Again, Andrew Schultz around 1.7, comparing all the smoke podcasts at 1.09. Okay, a little over a million. Okay, so the Flagrant 1.79 million subscribers. Again, 269,000 people like the content. Only under 10,000 people, under 9,000 people. We can bring it down a little bit more. So only under 9,000 people disliked the content. Okay, so when you come back and look at the comments again, you're looking at the overall engagement, right? Look at the engagement of the content, right? There's 48,000 comments, and again, what a time to be alive. And I want to talk about this, right? This interview made me change my mind about Trump. I voted for him today. Thank you for this interview, Trump 2024. Young podcast had better interviews than mainstream media. We're going to talk about this, right? We're going to highlight this. We're going to talk about this. Because this is one of the reasons, this comment right here is one of the reasons why I want to talk about this, bring up this topic, okay? So when you look at the comment section, it's, again, general, overall positive response, right? When you compare it to Kamala Harris, I think we can safely go back and find the Kamala Harris, right? When you go to a Kamala Harris interview, it's usually people just kind of making fun of her, right? Like making fun of her mannerisms, her vagueness, like her inability to really answer questions, her repetition of the same phrases. People are really making fun of her, right? There's 80,000 dislikes at this point, right? Now, this beats Shannon Sharp, because I couldn't believe Shannon Sharp had 195,000
So you probably heard about
dislikes.
the once weekly shot that can help you lose an average of 20% of your weight in a year when combined with diet and exercise. But you also may have heard that out-of-pocket costs can be huge.
And then also,
out insurance,
right? So he made a community post.
This is the other.
And then it comes to the community post, right? So again, we look at the community post. So community post on YouTube is another piece of content. You know, I got to bless it with the dislike. But community posts, you can't see the dislikes. About 7,300 people liked it from HBCUs to the top of their professions, right? That's Kamala and that's Shannon Sharp. And then again, 1,100 comments. You come to the comment section. What are people saying? She grew up in a middle-class family, but Shannon grew up in an outhouse. Y'all ain't the same. Cringe. Kamala went to the richest school in Montreal as a kid. She ain't middle class. Was she claiming Indian or African American here? You see, they're just making fun of her. Okay? They're just making fun of her, right? They're not cheering it on. Now, I'm pretty sure if you went down some more, you can find some good comments about her. Let's just do this for a second, right? So people don't say I'm biased. I just want to find a good comment, a positive comment about her on this. Let's see. Okay, so we don't have all day to find a positive comment on Kamala Harris, okay? We don't have all day for that. Obviously, you're not going to find it. It's going to be very hard, right? But that's kind of showing you the overall sentiment, right? So let me come back to this screen here. Let me cut this off. Let me change the tune just a little bit. And now I'm just going to do a little bit of talking. And then we're going to come back. Now we're gonna do a little bit of talking right now, okay? So what I want to just point out is in the midst of, let me just keep this up here. So have the people on the short screen have something to look at. And I'm working on my overlay for my vertical. So just give me some time. So, and I know this shit is loud. So what I just want to point out is simply, depending on how this election goes, it's going to say a lot about podcasters and their influence into the political sphere as something that should be taken serious instead of just something to be brushed off, right? Voted 3 weeks ago. Me and my friends voted for Kamala here in Texas. Oh, Schnott. Okay, that's what's up, Schnott. Damn, 3 weeks ago, early voting? Damn. I voted early last week, but 3 weeks ago? Wow. So, Kamala Harris refused to do the Joe Rogan. They wanted Joe Rogan to come to a disclosed location because she wants to control her environment when she does these podcasts. Joe Rogan said no. Consequently, she had time to go and do the SNL shtick, right? Whatever. Semantics. Trump has done all kinds of podcasts the past month, right? He's done nothing but podcasts, a couple of mainstream media interviews, but mainly podcasts, right? So here's the sentiment going into election day, right? Here's my takeaway. If Kamala Harris wins, the sentiment is that Democratic candidates like her do not have to do many media appearances at all. All they have to do really is to drill down their base, get their propaganda on point, have their scripted mainstream media interviews, and with their polls, and let the voters do the rest, right? Because Kamala Harris hasn't done a lot of speaking, like really. She never done a press conference. Only Trump even did an interview with Monty Woodgrain. Wait, what? He did an interview with Monty Woodgrain? No, he didn't. You lying. Hold up. Hold on. He did an interview with Monty Woodgrain? No, he didn't. Wait a minute.
This is Trump.
Oh no, this Monty. Monty was a goofball, man. Monty's a goofball. Anyway, hey there, Monty's just a goofball. Monty Woodgrain. Anyway, let's see. Okay, yeah. Anyway, yeah. That's Trump. So anyway, raining. Damn raining. So anyway, so Trump did nothing but podcast interviews and media interviews, right? If Trump wins, it'll lean to the narrative that a candidate doesn't need mainstream media as much as they need to do sit down regular talks, right? Because what will happen is that Trump will win because, one, people actually got to see him talk as a normal human being and not at rallies and not from, secondhand cable news networks clipping up what he says. It will be people, and the sentiment would be, well, regardless of the crazy things people said he is and said he's about, when I watched him on these podcasts, he was a regular and normal person, and I grew to like him because he was charismatic, and I understood that he really cared about the country, right? That would be that sentiment. So if he were to win based off of those sentiments, the future for podcasts would be more for having candidates just sit down and have regular conversations with podcast hosts where they can show their personality and also explain, the pros and cons, what they want to do for the country, instead of having these media interviews and these scripted news interviews and these scripted press conferences and everything being scripted, because people would want to see more of the personality of the candidate and less on their propaganda, less on their narratives, and less on their scripted words and events. And that would be like, if you're kind of into watching podcasts and you have like favorite podcasts when they interview certain political candidates and certain influential people, you would lean more towards that because the candidates would help grow the podcast industry way beyond what it is now, right? So let's just project, right? Let's just say Trump wins. Okay, Trump wins, Kamala loses. I don't care about the electoral count, whichever way it is, a win is a win, whatever, right? Then the news media will then say, okay, well, Trump won because the voters decided to pick the candidate based on, his policies, and, the secondary polls, when people would ask, why did you vote for him? They would say, oh, I voted for him even though his rhetoric may be, politically charged. I may not like how he says things. Like, my perception of him changed based on his appearances on these podcasts. I actually sat down and watched him and listened to him, not with all the lights and all the, the hoopla. Like, I realized that he was just a regular person. That would put people like podcasts like Joe Rogan, Andrew Schultz, even Club Shay in a different atmosphere, because now, for the next 4 years, political candidates, especially Democrats, would have to leverage themselves into the podcast sphere to be able to show their personality, their credentials, let people know that they're regular people, instead of the presentation that Kamala Harris has as a scripted, unoriginal candidate, right? And just to highlight that point, Joe Rogan turned down Kamala Harris because she didn't meet his demands, because she demanded to him that of what he wanted to do, and he said no. Imagine, we're in a place right now where podcast hosts can turn down presidential nominees and just say, nah, I'm good, we're not going for that. That's wild. We're in a new era of content right now. That's insane. to think about, right? That's really insane to think about. Joe Rogan in the past week has interviewed not only Donald Trump, he's interviewed JD Vance. So he's interviewed the presidential nominee, the vice presidential nominee, and he's done another interview with Elon Musk, all in the span of a week. And then when you think about a Joe Rogan podcast, like that demographic is straight men. Like it's a lot of men, not just only straight men, but it's whatever. It's, you know what I'm trying to say. But it's targeted towards men. And one of the issues that is said with Kamala Harris is that she's good with women, but she's terrible with men. So it was a strategic failure on her part to not go to the interview. Granted, she would have imploded like everyone thought she would, but nevertheless. So I'm really curious to see what's going to happen going forward with political candidates and these sit-down interviews on podcasts. Because we already know what's going to happen if they sit down with news media, right? We already kind of know, like if it's a Democratic candidate and they sit down with CNN, MSNBC, they're going to get glazed, right? If it's a Republican candidate, they sit down with Fox News or Newsroom, they're going to get glazed. Like we get that, okay? We get that, right? Like there's some nuances in between, but in general, we kind of have an understanding of what's going to happen when a political candidate goes on a friendly network. And we have an idea of what happens when a political candidate goes on an unfriendly network. We know what's going to happen, right? So none of these things are surprising for me. But I'm really, really, really interested to see because I want to know what the exit polls are. When the election is done, whoever wins. I want to know what the exit polls are. I want to know what the voter sentiment is. Because if it's Donald Trump, I want to know what changed these people's minds about him. Because if a lot of people say they saw his sit down interviews and it kind of changed his opinion about him, that's going to be major for the podcast industry as a whole, right? And again, like another creator. Now I don't like mentioning this man's name like that because he be tripping. But I saw he did an interview, right? So I'm gonna highlight him. Let's see. So another creator, I can't even find it. Okay, anyway, I don't gotta mention his name, but there's another creator. He interviewed the Libertarian candidate. He sat down on live stream and he had to interview a Libertarian candidate. Actually, I can actually pull up this woman. Let's see. And we'll take a look at Jill Stein, right? Let's find a Jill Stein interview. And Jill Stein does a lot of interviews, right? Let's go here. Let's go Jill Stein. Let's go Jill Stein. Breakfast Club, right? Let's see. Let's go here. Let's go Jill Stein. Breakfast Club, okay? So we got Jill Stein on the Breakfast Club. And when you look at Jill Stein on the Breakfast Club, okay, so I would like to just show the dislike.
Wake that ass up early in the morning.
So it looks like they disabled dislikes or something. I don't know. So anyway, you look at the Jill Stein interview on the Breakfast Club. Again, the Breakfast Club is urban targeted demographic. If you know the Breakfast Club, you know what their demographic is, okay? And you come down here, you got 14K likes, 289,000 views. No one disliked it, I guess. I don't know. So look at this. No matter how many comments get deleted, this video has gone viral and other content creators have picked up on Angela Rye's behavior. Interestingly enough, Angela and AOC have brought a large spike in attention to Dr. Stein and the Green Party. Many of us who were on the fence now realize that we have an alternative and we don't have to continue accepting the red or blue pill as our only choices. Angela still owes Dr. Stein and Dr. Ware an apology for her rude and distasteful demeanor. Okay, so again, Breakfast Club does a lot of these interviews, and on this interview, you know, they're very. I consider the Breakfast Club to be DNC assets. All right, so it is what it is. They're assets. So I'm not going to argue. I don't want to argue about that, but they're assets. They're obvious assets. But this interview gained a lot of popularity because Angela Rye kind of crashed out on this, right? Now I don't want to go into the details of why she crashed out. I'm not here to talk about politics. But I do want to show you kind of like what kind of happened.
For Secretary of the Commonwealth, you also lost in 2010. You ran for governor again, this time against the first black governor in Massachusetts, Deval Patrick. You lost. In 2012, you ran against this country's first black president, and you got just less than 0.5% of total votes cast. In 2016, you ran against Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, losing significantly with 1.4 million votes cast for you, but 0 electoral college votes, which I agree with y'all needs to be abolished. But 136 million people voted, and you lost that election as well. So I want to know what the pathway to victory is for you in 2024. It can't just be.
I'd like to provide a different framing.
Shut your mouth. Watch your fucking mouth.
I want to provide.
And I also.
Can I respond, please?
And Kamala Harris supporter.
May I respond?
Go ahead, Angela. Go ahead.
Well, I would like to respond. Yeah. This is the framing of the empire and the oligarchy and white supremacy and colonialism, which wants you to feel that resistance is.
When she called Angela Rye a white supremacist and a colonizer, this is when she crashes out.
Futile. This is about voter blaming and voter shaming.
Let me just no. What you're not going to say is that I'm ever parroting anything at the hands of white supremacy. This is something that's very different. This is me asking you again. It's a binary
I'm
choice
just
in an
pointing
election.
out that these are the talking points.
No, it's
these
not
are the same talking points
no,
that the DNC.
I didn't get my talking points. This is not DNC talking points. This is my research. And sadly for you, the research says you have never won an election. You have been successful in pushing forward certain agendas. As an advocate, but you have never won an election as a candidate. Is that a winning strategy?
So, in order to win, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step, and in this case, it's many steps. Let me point out, please. You need to compare the Green Party not with those who are taking money from AIPAC
and the problem that this caused is that it brought a lot of light to Jill Stein's campaign, and the big thing about Jill Stein's campaign is that she's the anti-genocide candidate with the Israel and Gaza thing. Again, I'm not about to get into all of that. I'm just looking at the optics and pointing out the results. I'm not about to get into all that. But what this caused was it caused a lot of the targeted black demographic that will normally just go vote Democrat or Republican. It kind of brought eyes to her campaign with Dr. Ware and what they're standing for. It brought a lot of light to the plight of the Green Party when it comes to gaining votes in the general election, right? And again, this is the benefit of, these political candidates that going on these podcasts, because a person like Jill Stein will never get the opportunity to be on a debate stage. Same thing like Robert F. Kennedy. They will never get the opportunity to be on a debate stage with the main presidential candidates of the Democratic and Republican Party. They'll never get that opportunity ever. They won't let that happen, right? They'll get blocked off. They get ran off. They don't let that happen. Okay. But candidates like Robert F. Kennedy, like Jill Stein, like Cornel West, like Justin Oliver, whatever his name is. Like they have these opportunities to get on these podcasts, these independent channels, these independent content creators, and they're able to share and explain who they are and show you who they are and what they stand for and the plight that they deal with, right? And a person like Jill Stein, like on a Joe Rogan, or like, I know she will never be on Club Shay Shay because Club Shay Shay is an asset too, but they get on these platforms and they get exposed to demographics that don't even know that they exist, right? But I want to play a little bit because this is actually a little funny. I find this interaction funny.
The War Machine and Wall Street. You've got to compare us. Excuse me. You have to compare us to other grassroots, non-corporate.
Watch when Angela closes her computer and folds her arms. It's the fun. This is hilarious.
White supremacist. She said I was parroting the talking points of a white supremacist.
See,
that
was my disappointment.
May I finish, please?
May
I get to my point? May I please get to my point?
Let Dr. Stein and Angela close it up.
Let me finish, please. Thank you.
Look at her face. Yo, look at her face. Man, let me tell you something. Man. If a face could say 1,000 words, that shit says 1,000,000. Just look at her face and when she closed the laptop, yo. That says it all for me. This is funny. This is comedy. She is over it. She crashed out, Raina. This is what we call a prime crash out. We're going to look at this again. We're going to let this play again.
Stein and Angela, close it up.
Let me finish, please.
Watch the laptop. Bow. Laptop done.
You're trying to...
Look at her face. And this is all because she got called a white supremacist and a colonizer because she's using the talking points for the DNC talking points. And she is mad. Now, I'm going to play it. I'm going to play the rest of it, and you can see how visibly upset and shaken she is. This is comedy. And again, this is entertainment as well. So when you have these kind of emotionally charged segments, this just helps bring more attention to the political candidate because now everyone's like, wow, that's an entertaining segment. Who is this person that got her mad? Because more people know who Angela Rye is than they know who Jill Stein is. But then they see Angela Rye mad at Jill Stein. They're like, whoa, who is Jill Stein? Because this is entertaining. And then they look up Jill Stein and say, oh, okay, this is what she's for. So let's just continue to play this a little. But this is funny.
Compare us to the Democratic Party and the Republican Party with their billions of dollars, or to the Working Families Party, which is not under attack. As a people-powered party, not taking money from Wall Street or the War Machine or AIPAC, we are on very different turf. But if you compare us to all other similar parties, which are not taking corporate money, which are not bought and paid for, which can stand up against endless war, against homelessness, against the climate crisis, against the housing and the healthcare crisis. Campaigns like us, who can actually stand up for the people, they last exactly 1 to 2 election cycles, and then they're gone. So we are actually the pillar of strength among people-powered politics. And what have we done over that period? We have established the Green Party as the vehicle.
She has not unfolded her arms.
For people-powered politics. We have also launched the agenda, which has been adopted by the progressive Democrats, given lip service, not actually advanced. But whether you're looking at healthcare as a human right, launched by Ralph Nader as a national issue, reparations, launched by our campaign as a national issue in 2012. If you look at free public, had Congress take on. I'm trying for president. See, this is exactly what they say, that we are only running for president.
Of color as parroting talking points instead of us looking at basic math. The one thing that AOC has done that you haven't is win some elections. And so when I'm asking you if you've won any elections, that is one point. If you want to tell me that you want to push a more progressive agenda,
I mean, this is comedy. Like, this is primetime comedy. This is like, this level of crash out is just entertaining to me, man. I find this hilarious, man. Really.
I find this hilarious. I don't know why Club Shay Shay didn't get on this with Jill Stein and get Trump, man. I don't know why, but it's funny. I would have loved to see Club Shay Shay interview Donald Trump. I think that shit would have been prime time YouTube content. I have no idea why he didn't interview Donald Trump. The clips would have been priceless, man. Oh my God. Imagine Club Shay Shay asking Donald Trump about, January, the 6th of January, and he well, Trump, what happened on the 6th of January, and then Trump is like, listen, Shannon, I know. I asked the National Guard to go, and no one showed up. It's Nancy Pelosi's fault. It's not mine.
You want to talk about pushing a progressive agenda, you can do that, not by running necessarily for president. Your track record as a state rep candidate, as a secretary of the Commonwealth candidate, as a gubernatorial candidate, as a presidential candidate, lacking.
I hear
so I'm
this,
asking if you consider going about it a different way instead of telling me I'm parroting white supremacist talking points.
So I can
Perhaps
tell you,
hear the facts.
I
These
can
are
tell
the
you,
facts. The numbers are not on your side, right?
So Dr. Jill Stein, let's end with some
absolutely.
closing remarks.
Yes.
On your campaign, and then the Honorable Angela Rye, you can end with your.
Yo, look at.
Some closing remarks.
Yes.
On your campaign, and then the Honorable Angela.
Yo, let me tell you something. That look right there, that's the look your girl gives you when you told her you were going to be able to go for 30, but you only lasted 10. That's the face. That's the face she gives you, man. When you tell your girl, baby, don't worry about it. I'm good for about 30, and you only make it to 10. That is the face that she gives you right there. Arms folded, sugar cookie face. It's over after that. Yeah, let me tell you something. When she gives you that look, bro, it is over for you.
Angela Rye, you can end with your.
I'm done. I've asked my question.
Okay, so as Frederick Douglass said, power concedes nothing without a demand. It never has and it never will. Like so many other Greens, I came from the world of social activism. I spent decades upon decades fighting for healthcare as a human right, for racially just redistricting, which we actually succeeded in, for getting big money out of politics and creating a public financing system.
Okay, so that's enough of that, right? So that's enough of that. Let's see. Where is? Okay, let me see. It's music. Okay. Oh, I don't know why. Oh, it's. Okay. Let me see something. Okay, that's my ear. Anyway. So yeah, so that's let me see. I'm just trying to. Okay. So that's the volume in my ear. All right. So yeah, so that's Angela Rye. Shay Shay didn't want to piss off ESPN. Yeah, so that's a great point, right? That's an excellent point, right? Let me see if we can go back to Club Shay Shay. Right? So when you look at a Club Shay Shay, right?
This is the other side of Kirk Franklin.
So, for those that don't remember, Shannon Sharpe had an incident where he accidentally went live while he was banging some woman, right? Now, normally, that's a fireable offense, obviously. Right? Most people get fired for shit like that. He didn't get fired. Shannon Sharpe didn't get fired. He apologized and he made light of it. So obviously, when I saw it, I'm like, okay, so he's an asset. He was told to do that. He has a green light to do whatever, kind of, right? So if you're an asset of Disney Corporation, right? which is Disney owns ESPN. You're not going to do anything that's going to put Donald Trump in a positive light, right? Shannon and Trump would have epic. That's what I'm saying. Like, imagine Shannon Sharp, right? Imagine Shannon Sharp with the cue cards, fumbling questions, asking Trump, trying to get Trump to asking questions, and Trump just dog walking. Like, that shit would have been hilarious. I don't know why he didn't get Trump on the show. That would have done more numbers, almost the same amount of, close to the same amount of numbers as Cat Williams, because it would have been so funny. Like, just imagine, let's country Shannon Sharp asking Trump questions, trying to give him hard questions. That shit would have been hilarious. So obviously he would have gotten questions from the DNC and Kamala Harris campaign, but it would have been funny nonetheless. Imagine Trump telling Shannon Sharp, Kamala, she's a stupid woman. She's a very uneducated woman, very uneducated. And well, Shannon, no, Trump, she graduated. I don't know what she graduated for. I've never seen any of her cases that she presided over. She's just a silly woman. Like, imagine, that would have been fun. I don't know why. I know why, but I don't know why. I think it was a missed opportunity. Honestly, I think it was a missed opportunity. It's a missed opportunity. But hilarious nonetheless. Hilarious nonetheless. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about when it comes to the podcast. We'll see what happens when it comes to the election. Like, we'll see. I kind of have an idea of what's going to happen. All I'll say to people is please, don't be arguing with no people in this street about this election. Please take your ass home. Please, you just go vote and take your ass home, please. Just don't be out here arguing with people, talk about democracy and all this other bullshit. Go home. Just go take your ass home. That's the best thing anyone can do, is just take your ass home. I'm curious to see what happens. I would hope it's a landslide either way. I don't want to see some 7-day vote. I don't know. That's going to be crazy. So, second piece of business I got. Let me see if I don't have a screen. More people are here on the vertical than the regular stream. So I'll just leave this stream as it is. And I'll just leave this as it is, right? I'll just leave the club Shay here. Let me see. Oh, yeah, Mark Cuban. I don't want to see no Mark Cuban.
Madam VP, if you were to become...
Okay. So anyway, we're just going to talk for a little bit. So I upgraded the mixer. I finally upgraded my mixer. I got this is going to be wow. Yeah, the election tomorrow is going to be, matter of fact, while we're here, let's just talk about, let's just go here. While we're here, we can talk about the election real quick. We can talk about the election real quick. I covered what I wanted for my clip, so I'm fine with that. So we can just be talking real quick. Damn, they hitting you with the ads? Damn. Okay, let me see something. Okay. So we just messing around right now. Damn, they got all the ads, bro. This is why, look at all these fucking ads, man. Ugh. Anyway, so we just messing around right now. So right now, it's a little, the election's a little choppy. You know what I mean? It's a little choppy. The election's a little choppy. A lot of people kind of not, they're a little nervous. You know what I mean? A lot of people are a little nervous about what's going on with the election. I just want to mess around with this map a little bit. So I feel like a pollster now.
So this is pretty much where everything kind of stands right here with the election, right? About 2:30, give or take, the swing states, right? Honestly, the best case scenario for everyone's peace of mind is the East Coast. When the East Coast closes at 7, map looks like this, right? That's the best case scenario for everyone's peace of mind. As if the map looks like this at the end of the night at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock when polls close on the East Coast. And I think we'll give him that one too, because he might win that. And we'll give him no, that district. He gets that one. She gets that one district, right? There we go. Yeah, that's what it should look like. In the East Coast, 7, 8 o'clock. If the map looks like this before we even get out here, that's the best case scenario for everybody, right? So there's no crash outs, right? And we'll say it looks like that. Old girl gets that. Old girl gets that. And that's all she wrote, right? If that happens 7, 8 o'clock at night, perfect. We good to go. That means nobody's crashing out, right? And then if we go, let's go on the opposite, right? Let's go on the opposite. Let's say we give old girl, she still keeps Virginia. Let's say, she narrowly wins all of those, right? Let's just give her those, right? Let's just give her those. She takes that. She takes that. Boom, bada bing, bada boom. 7 o'clock, boom. That's what it looks like. Either way, right? Boom, we done. 7, 8 o'clock, boom. That's what the map looks like. Bada bing, bada boom. We out of here. Good night. Right? And then, right, even if, right, 7, 8 o'clock, old boy got this. Old boy takes both of these. And then she gets all of these. Right? 284, 254. We all going home happy. She take all the Rust Belt, loses Pennsylvania. We good to go. Matter of fact, even if you gave her Pennsylvania, she still wins. Nah, total crash out. Broken families fighting. Right? 271, 267. She said total crash out, right? Yeah, I mean, honestly, man, best case scenario, I'm telling you what right now, best case election day scenario, right? Best case scenario, map looks like this. Let's say, right here, look at this. Map goes like this. By 7, 8 o'clock, this is what we're looking at. Okay? We're looking at this. If it looks like this, 7, 8 o'clock, we good to go. Ain't nothing to argue about. We done. Pack it up, go home. Right? And then you even give her this. She might lose this, though. Let's just say this. Let's say she loses all of that, right? 324, 214, go home. We good to go. Bye-bye. Have a nice night. All right? There's nothing to crash out about. It's over. It's over. Okay? We're done. So nobody have to, anxiety. You take your whatever the, you take your Xanax, you go to sleep. Have a nice night. Goodbye. We're done. It's over. You don't got to wait up 7, 8 o'clock, 3, 4, 5 days. Because even if these guys over here, because these guys fuck around all the time. These people fuck around all the time with their elections over here. These people right here, they're always fucking around. Matter of fact, even if we give them Nevada too, right? Give them Nevada. These guys right here, they're always dicking around, right? They're always dicking around with their elections. Even if we're still waiting for them. Boy already won, right? He already at 318, right? Ain't no votes for her, right? Even if you gave them boom, and then you gave her this, and then you gave her this, still it's over. Brother love is up, right? It's over, okay? Best case scenario, that's what I want to see. That means everybody go home. There's no stress. There's no anxiety. Ain't nobody worried about what's happening. It's too close to call. It's over. Go home. Good night. Okay. Horrible scenario right here. Let me show you this one. This is terrible.
This is worst case scenario. Let's see, 281, 251. No, that means if she gets that, 270, 262. Let's give them Virginia, 275, 257. Let's say she gets Arizona, 264, 268. Let's say he got that, 270, and she got that, 274. Boom. Okay. All right. This is the worst case scenario for tomorrow. This is horrible. This is major Xanax. This is shots of Casamigos, chasing it down with Old English. This is staying up all night, eating a barrel full of Haagen-Dazs ice cream. This is worst case scenario, okay? This is where people lose their shit, is if the election looks like this by 11 o'clock at night and all eyes on freaking Nevada, that is worst case scenario, okay? That's worst case scenario, all right? That is total crash out session right there. That is, everybody gonna be crashing out. Because then we're just waiting for these people. Everybody's going to crash out. Because at 268, 264, everybody's going to crash out. Especially if old boy gets this over here, right? If he gets this over here, listen. 270, listen. That's crash out. So that's crash out right there, okay? Just to let y'all know. So if you see this on election night, you know it's finna be crash out. You know, stay your ass home. Don't be out there protesting with nobody. It's gonna be crash out session. You know, FBI, they're gonna call up Christopher Wray and says, hey, we need you to go put in some work again. Don't get involved if it looks like this. Stay. Okay? If it looks like this, don't get involved in none of this shit, okay? Stay your ass home. Stay home. Okay, stay home. That's terrible. I don't want to see that. That's horrible. I want to see this. I want to see the moment they start, okay, polls are closing at 7 o'clock. This is what I want to see. I want to see that. Because if I see that, that means it's over. There ain't nothing else to talk about. We all going home. Everybody's happy. You know, there's no, you know, you know, she get the Rust Belt. You know, she get her Rust Belt. You know, she happy with that. They happy with the Rust Belt stuff. You know, we come over here. We give them that. 300, 330. Yeah, everybody happy. Go home. Thank you. See you again in 4 years. No arguing. See, goodbye. Thank you. Goodbye. See you guys in 4 years. Okay? That's it. We over. By 7, 8 o'clock, this shit, man, you do this right here, it's over. Game over. At 4 o'clock, everybody get to go home now. I hope. Because I don't want to see this shit get dragged out a whole week. That's terrible. These people going to crash out. The collective psyche can't handle that. But anyway, back to the mixer. It's funny when you play around, you play around with the map. They say he might get this though. You know, all he would need is just to get all these three. He don't even need this though. All he just needs is these two. Get PA, and she can get everything else. She can get all that. She can get all that. All he needs is PA. That's it. That's best case scenario. We all get to sleep easy after that. So we don't got to worry about, late night counting and all that other bullshit that they be doing. Especially with these people over here, they be bullshitting. But anyway, so I replaced the Go XLR. I was struggling with the drivers for the Roland Bridgecast X. I'll do a separate video to talk about it. The best thing about this mixer is it has a video capture card built in, so I can connect. My my GoPro. I can connect my GoPro again and do my overhead shots like I used to do, and connect it right into the mixer. Yeah, I mean, this new mixer, man, so y'all gonna have to forgive me. It's a little bit more advanced, so it has a lot of mix minus features built in, so it's gonna take a lot of practice to understand the audio because I'm feeding the audio into different audio channels and controlling the mix on one dial and then controlling it in my ear in another. So it takes some time. It's going to take some time to completely figure that out. But anyway, I'm done. I'm going to wrap it up here. So I hope you guys, I'm actually just going to end the big stream. I don't know what happened to it looked like the big stream got buried or something. I don't know what happened. Something happened with the big stream. No one saw it. I don't know what happened. I don't know. I think I'm shadow banned on that. Anyway. Yeah. So we're just on the vertical now. Yeah, I don't know what happened to the big stream. Yeah, so we'll see what happens. I hope we, like I said, I hope we have a quick night. 7, 8 o'clock, we out of here. Best case scenario, we looking at this. Okay. Best case scenario, we looking at something like this, and we out of here, baby. That's it. Everybody get to go to sleep. everybody gets to go to sleep. We don't gotta, we're still counting. That's okay. Y'all just, y'all do whatever. Y'all can even give it to her. There we go. Okay, give her 11 votes. Okay, we done. Okay, we're done. We're going home. Everything's happy, right? The only thing at 7 o'clock that would be a major crash out is this. That's crash out. If that happens, that's never going to happen. But if that happens, imagine a red New York. These people, man. Imagine a red New York, man. These people lose their fucking mind. Could you imagine? Could you imagine a red New York? These people would lose their minds, man. They would go fucking crazy if there was a red New York, yo. Oh my God, man. One more piece of business, too. I recently, we're going to pause this for a second. I recently, there's this company called Cymatics, and they produce a lot of riots. Man, if New York went red, bro, riots, chaos in the streets, man. You know what I mean? Fucking liberals are in Brooklyn that will fucking crash out, man. Crash city if New York turned red, man. We wouldn't hear the end of it, man. I wouldn't even go outside. I wouldn't. I'm like, yo, we inside. Yo, imagine doomsday scenario, right? She gets all of these states, even give her PA, but fucking Trump takes New York. Yo, that shit would be hilarious. Anyway, even California. Now that, yo, listen. A red, let's say he took California and Washington, right? Let's say he took California and Washington, and you gave her all of this. Right? And he took California and Washington, and give her this. I would laugh, yeah. But I'm glad y'all can laugh about that. Like, I'm glad I got people that can laugh about stuff like this, right? That's why I like the people that I have on my, like, we can laugh about that. Like, we're not going to crash out over, like, oh, you Trumpers and you dumb liberal. Like, we just laugh and it's funny, right? It's funny. Like, yo, could you imagine? I mean, I'm pretty sure in an alternate universe, right? In an alternate timeline, there's a time where Trump took California and people lost their shit. Like, could you imagine the media fallout if Trump took California and she got all the Rust Belt states and Trump just took California. Yo, that crash out would be I would love that. That would be like watching the undefeated Patriots lose to the Giants for me. That would be chef's kiss for that, right? That would be so magnificent to see that level of crash out, right? Now, on the other side, right? On Rumble, you got they would burn California to the fucking ground if it turned red. Like, man, she got all the Rust Belts and lost California. California would burn to the ground. It would burn to the ground. Like, all you would see is just smoke coming out of California. That's it. That's how bad it would be. Like, you would just see smoke coming out of California. They'd be like, what's wrong? Like, California turned red. Oh, okay. Now we got to do on the flip side now. We're not just going to pick on the liberals, Republicans now. Now imagine. Now, that, what's so funny though? Like, Democrats could take Texas and still lose the election. They could take Texas and still lose. If they took Texas, it would be tied 266, 266. And then all eyes would be back on Nevada. Imagine. Now, this is even better. Right? Imagine a scenario where the Democrats actually flip Texas and still lose. Yo, do you know how funny that would be? Yo. That would even be funnier than Trump taking California. If the Democrats flipped Texas and still lost the election. That's like you're playing football with 3 seconds left. Your kicker kicks the field goal. It goes in for the win, but it gets called back because your team was offsides. And then you kick it again and you miss it. Otherwise known as being a Bills fan. Like, I don't know, they would burn this country to the ground. I don't know. I don't think it would be that funny. Yeah, them liberals, they turn up pretty hard, man. I don't know. They got the conservatives beat when it comes to turning up, though. I ain't gonna lie. Like, they nearly burnt the country down to the ground in 2020. You know, all the conservatives did. They only broke some windows in the Capitol, bro. Liberals nearly burnt the city they were burning cities to the ground. You know, conservatives, they broke some windows and one of them got shot. But yikes. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So I found this app called Cymatics. This company called Cymatics, and they produce a lot of MIDI stems and melodies for music production. And I found it to be very useful because it has good melodies that you can use in content creation just for streaming, like this. And it's just nice melodies that you can use when I don't have an instrumental that I actually want to play. And you just have melodies, and then you just loop it, and then you just have melodies playing in the background. But they also have like beats and stems to make music. I'm not into music production like that, but I like it for having like these melodies. Let me turn this down. And they're good for beats and stuff. But I like it for like having for streams and things like what I'm doing right here. When I don't just have an Epidemic Sounds soundtrack to play. So yeah. But yeah, man, I wish you know I just hope we have a quick election. I hope we 1, 2, 3, we out of there by 8:00 and it's over. When the morning starts, we'll start. These guys right here will open their ballots. So we'll kind of we'll get if we'll see where it's going by the afternoon, judging by these people's votes. Have you talked to LaFave? Yeah, I talk to LaFave all the time still. Yeah. LaFave is live right now doing Magic the Gathering. LaFave is live right now doing Magic the Gathering. I talk to him all the time. Yeah. LaFave right now doing Magic the Gathering. He found the card simulator card shop, and now he's playing Magic the Gathering. And I like Magic the Gathering. I used to play it too. I got out of card games because card games started to become very expensive. But I like it nonetheless. It's good stuff. So anyway, I'm gonna wrap it up here. I appreciate you guys for joining me. We got some good views on this. I appreciate you guys. Okay, he's a good guy. Yeah, Faye's my boy. He's cool peoples. Because of him is the reason why I got to sit down and redo my OBS, and I will do it. I will do it, and I got to make it clean. I got to get rid of all this stuff and just make my OBS look more clean, more succinct, make it look normal, make it make sense. I was in a Yu-Gi-Oh. Oh my God. I got any cards in front of me? No. Yeah, I love Yu-Gi-Oh. Yu-Gi-Oh was my shit. Oh my God. Oh. Yu-Gi-Oh was my shit. I need your help with some overlays. Just email me. Send me an email, brother love. Send me an email. If you need help with your overlays or whatever it is that you're doing, I think you still use... What do? You still use StreamYard? I don't know what it is that you're doing, how you're making your content, but if you need help with overlays, yeah, I can help you with that. Just shoot me an email. Yeah, just send me an email if you need help with your overlays. We can talk about it from there. Overlays are easy. It's not that hard. You can do that. You can mostly do overlays in Canva. You don't really gotta do too much. Very simple stuff. Let's see what we got. Anyway, guys, you guys have a good one. I hope we have a smooth election tomorrow. Hope everything goes well. We all get to go. Okay, it's over. Then we all get to move on to the rest of our boring Monday lives. Oh man. Till next time, guys. You have a good one.